Okay. Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a few moments to become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position where you can sit with your spine, back of your neck, nice and long and tall. Opening up your chest, opening up your diaphragm so you have nice deep breaths, and opening up your heart. Gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. And soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention, well, the class I'm going to talk about Ayurveda, but the intention itself is about grounding. So Ayurveda is the sister science to yoga. It's an ancient health system dating back 5,000 years. And the science of Ayurveda focuses on 3 doshas or energies, the Vata, the Pitta, and the Kapha. All 3 energies are present in each of us at varying levels, determined by our body type, our mind, and our spirit. The goal of Ayurveda science is to keep us in balance through what we eat, through emotional and physical wellness routines. So doshas are also applied to other things like seasons. And the fall season is considered to be the Vata season. That's one of the 3 doshas. And it's governed by the elements air and ether. Its characteristics, just as they would be in ourselves if we were a Vata energy person, it's dry, light, cool, rough, and windy. So with the Vata season, think of a cool, windy fall day with the dry leaves being blown about. So key words there, cool, windy, and dry. So with Ayurveda, what they do is to create balance by doing opposites. So they feel that like promotes like. So if you're dry and you're eating dry things or being in a really super hot room, you're increasing that dryness. So you want to do offsetting things to balance yourself and to balance the season, or have you feel more balanced during the season. So during the Vata season, the fall season, you would do opposites of the dry, windy, and cool things by, in the food category, you would have soups and stews with root vegetables, hot drinks with warming spices like cinnamon or cumin. Even movements would be very grounding and stabilizing, like routines. Getting into a routine in the fall is really grounding. And then other things like your breath practices, breathing practices, the Nodi, Shodhana, and the Samra are both breathing exercises that would calm and soothe anxiety and support the nervous system. So if you think of that windy, dry leaves flowing around in the fall and trying to offset that by calming, have a nice calming and soothing breathing practice, that would calm down that windy anxiety that you may experience. So on that note, with our pranayama, which is our breathing technique for today, we're going to do the Nodi Shodhana, which is also called alternate nostril breathing. We've done this before, and it's done with your fingers in a certain way. It's mudra, where you take your hand and you bend your index and your middle finger, and this is called a Vishnu mudra. And this in itself is a mudra for balancing. But you would employ this in your breathing technique. So you would put the thumb on your right nostril, breathing in, inhaling through your left nostril. When you're at the top of the inhale, you would switch fingers, bringing your ring finger to your left nostril and exhaling through your right nostril. And then keep your finger there on at the end of the exhale, and inhale again through the right nostril. And when you're at the top of the inhale, then you would switch fingers. So the key thing is whenever you're at the top of the inhale, you need to switch your fingers. Now, if that's uncomfortable, you can put your fingertips here and or just, whatever. You don't need to do that mudra. Sometimes I like to just put my two fingers on my between my eyes. I forget what it's called. Third eye. There we go. And just flip my fingers back and forth that way. So whatever's comfortable. But the idea is you have two channels of energy that that this Nodi Shodhana affects. When you are breathing through the left side, that actually activates a channel that is more calming and soothing, and it's a great way of getting to sleep. And then the right channel, when you close off your left nostril, you're breathing through your right side, and that actually energizes your body. It's a channel along your spine that creates an energy. So by alternating and closing and opening each channel, you're balancing yourself. And this is just as an aside, it's a technique. I mentioned it soothes anxiety and supports the nervous system. It's a technique that's often used with people who experience panic attacks. It just has a super calming and effective method. I mean, people can do it for about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, and that is a real soothing and comforting technique. So let's just experience that for a few minutes. Again, whenever you're at the top of the inhale, that's when you flip your finger around. You can return to your natural breathing. And for our meditation this morning, I'd like to have you visualize yourself as a tree. You know, you're sitting on the ground. So that is where the trunk connects to the earth, and you rise up and hear your limbs. And just kind of visualize yourself as a tree. And I'm going to give you a mantra, if you'd like to repeat this. I am rooted to the earth and supported by the universe. I am rooted to the earth and supported by the universe. I am rooted to the earth and supported by the universe. And we'll just continue the meditation, and I'll meet you on the mat. You may open your eyes now. We'll begin our asana practice. And you may continue to sit on your cushion or your blanket. I can prop myself up on my blanket, just so that my hips kind of roll to the edge of the blanket and off. I'm trying to lower my knees down. And we'll start with some sun breaths, bringing your fingertips to the side of the mat. We're going to inhale, bringing our hands up, nice big deep inhale. And then exhale, bringing your fingertips right back down to the mat. Deep inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale up. And we can kind of continue that mantra of when we exhale, bringing our fingertips back down to the earth, feel ourselves rooted to the earth. And then bringing our hands back up, inhaling, we're being supported by the universe. Exhale down, getting rooted and grounded to the earth. Inhale, supporting ourselves with the universe. Exhale, bring our arms down, getting grounded again. Inhale up, being supported by the universe. We'll just do a few more. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, coming up. And one last exhale, coming down, feeling grounded. We're going to bring the soles of our feet together, come into Cobbler's pose. I was doing this yesterday. I'm like, whoa, I haven't done this in a while, and it really felt it. So you can interlace your fingers and wrap them around your toes. or you can hold on to your ankles, grab your ankles on each side. That's my preferred method. And then we're going to point our elbows toward our knees, keeping a nice straight back. We're going to pivot from our waist and just lean in. You'll feel that in your thighs, your inner thighs, and just go until you reach that sweet spot, that point of effort, between effort and relaxation, finding that balance. Again, Ayurveda is all about finding that balance. So do it in so many ways in our life. And then exhale, come back to an upright position. And one more time, we're just going to point our elbows to our knees and lean in, pivoting from the waist. Nice straight spine. And then exhale, coming back up. We're going to bring our right foot and place it in front of our left leg so that instead of having your legs crossed at the shins, your feet are side by side. And we're going to slowly walk our fingers out in front of us, take them for a little journey. And again, we're going to pivot from the waist, flat back, bring ourselves as far down as is comfortable. Again, finding that sweet spot, that balance between effort and relaxation. And once you've found that spot, you just stop and breathe deeply into any tension you may feel. If a few breaths don't help to mitigate the tension, then back up a little bit. And then we're going to walk our hands over to the right, kind of crawl them over to the right, and see if you can bring your torso so that it's over your right thigh. And then walk your hands back toward your knee. And we're going to bring our knee up so that it reaches toward the sky. Wrap our left arm around our right knee. Bring our right fingertips so they sit on the mat right behind our hips, twisting our torso open to the right. And send your gaze out to the right. My gaze, I get to look out the window and see the beautiful foliage, and it seems to really peak this weekend, or in the process of peaking. I think this week's going to be a beautiful week. And then we're going to bring ourselves back, centered, bring our soles of our feet back into cobbler's pose, and fingers around your toes or wrap around your ankles. Elbows go toward your knees. Pivoting from the waist, you lean forward till you get to that sweet spot. And then exhale, coming back. Once again, inhale, bring your elbows toward your knees, just point them in that direction. Pivot from the waist, sending your gaze out ahead. Exhale, come back up. And then we're going to put our left foot in front of our right foot. So our legs are crossed, but the feet are side by side with our left foot in front. And we'll walk our hands down slowly, pivoting at the waist, nice straight spine. Come to that sweet spot. And it's probably going to be different on this side than it was on the other side. And then just breathe into the tension. Again, back off if it's just too much. We don't want pain, we just want a little bit of effort there. And then walk your hands over to the left. crab crawl them over. See if you can bring your torso over your left thigh. And then walk your hands back toward your knee. Then we'll send our left knee up toward the sky. Wrap our right arm around our left knee. Bring our left fingertips behind our hips, sitting on the mat. Twisting our torso to the left and sending our gaze out. And then relax, coming back to center. We're gonna roll down on our mat now. So you just, you can relax and tuck your fingertips under your knees and just roll back. Or if you'd like, you can roll back using one vertebrae at a time as you descend. And once we're down on our back, extend your feet to the end of the mats. So you're in a reclined mountain pose. Toes are pointing up to the sky. Your body's nice and snug into the mat, grounded into the earth. We're going to take our right foot, the sole of our right foot, and slide it along the inner part of your left leg until the sole of your foot reaches your left knee. And your legs are in a shape of 4, the number 4. The right knee is pointing to the right side of the mat. You just feel that opening of your hips there a little bit. And then we're going to balance that by putting our right foot on top of our left knee, so the knee's straight up. And then with our left hand, we're going to take our right knee and guide our right knee over to the left side of the mat. So we're going to do a recline twist. So you had your knee open in one direction, now it's pointed to the other direction. And then slide that right foot back down to the end of the mat. Toes are pointed up toward the sky. And we'll do that on the other side. So the sole of your left foot will slide along your inner right leg till it reaches the right knee. And your left kneecap is pointing to the left side of your mat. Your legs are in a figure 4. And just feel that opening of your hips. And then bring your left foot on top of your right knee. Left knee's pointing up to the sky. And then you can take your right hand, place it on your left knee, and guide your left knee over to the right side of the mat. Again, recline twist. And inhale, bring them back up. And you bring your both knees up and bring them to your chest and give them a nice gentle hug. Knees to chest. You rock back and forth, kind of give your lower back a nice massage. Then we're going to take our hands and place them on each kneecap, right hand on the right kneecap, left hand on left kneecap. We're going to push our kneecaps away from us, extending our arms as far as they will reach. And then opening the knees to both sides, we're going to bring the soles of our feet together. So we're in a cobbler's pose on our back. Nice grounding version of cobbler's pose. And then bring your knees toward your shoulders, just guide them there with your hands. And then bring your knees back over your chest, giving them a nice little hug. We'll do that a couple more times. So hands on your kneecaps, push your knees away from you, extending your arms fully. Both knees open to the side, bringing the soles of your feet together. Guide your knees back toward your shoulders. And then bring your knees together over your chest. Nice hug. And one last time. Extending your hand or your knees forward. Extending your arms all the way out. Opening your knees to each side. Soles of your feet come together. Guiding your knees back toward your shoulders. And we'll do this very slowly. Again, this is a balancing thing from, if you think of those key words for the Vata season, the fall season of being windy and fast and swirly and dry, slow movements during the fall will balance off those windy, rushing leaves that you'll see. So with your knees guided back toward your shoulders, we'll stop here. We're not going to bring them to our chest. We're going to actually slide our hands down our legs and grab the outer edges of our feet and bring the soles of our feet up to the sky for happy baby pose. So you may want to, if your hands don't reach the outer edges of your feet, you can bring them to your shins, whatever is comfortable for you. Your lower back is reaching toward the mat. And then we're going to bring our arms underneath our knees, and our hands underneath our knees, and we're going to roll back up. So you can either roll to the side and make your way back up to your hands and knees, or you can rock and roll on your spine until you get up to a seated position and then get to your hands and knees. So I'm going to just rock and roll, come up to a seated position, and then come into hands and knees, tabletop position. The tabletop, your wrists are right below your shoulders, knees right below your hips. Your fingertips are splayed wide apart, and you'll have that equal balanced distribution of weight in your hands and in your knees. Navel's tucked to your spine, create a nice flat back. We'll do some cat-cows here. Very familiar. So we're going to exhale, rounding our back, dropping our head and tail down. Oh, that felt good, stretching out. And then inhale, lifting your head and tailbone up, gazing straight ahead for cow. Exhale, rounding our back, dropping our head and tailbone down. Inhale, lifting our head and tailbone up for cow. And then just slowly go at your own pace. Deep, deep inhales, deep, deep exhales, synchronizing your breath with your movements. And then come back to a neutral spine. Tabletop position. We're going to keep our knees exactly where they are under our hips. We walk our hands out in front of us. And we're going to lower our chest down toward the mat, coming into, I can't believe I forgot the name of this, extended puppy. This is what my dog Oscar does every morning. Extended puppy. And then we're going to walk our hands back a little bit further. And as we walk our hands back, we're going to lower our hips down toward our ankles, coming into child's pose. Then inhale, lifting our torso up, but keeping our hips on our ankles. We're coming into hero's pose. We're going to take our hands and bring them in back of our hips, interlacing our fingers, gently rolling your shoulders back, relaxing your shoulders and letting them roll back. We're going to do a few yoga locks, which is what our interlaced hands behind our hips is. So we're just inhale, lifting our hands out and away from our hips, and then exhale, bringing them back toward our hips. Inhale, lift and extend out, and exhale, bringing them back toward our hips. Inhale, lift and extend out, and exhale, back toward our hips. One last time, inhale, extend out. Exhale, bringing them back toward our hips. Placing our fingertips back down on the mat, we're going to tuck our toes under and then walk our hands back so that we come into a squat. We're on the balls of our toes, and we're going to push down and come up into mountain pose. Mountain pose, we're going to go through the essentials of mountain pose, which is the essentials of good posture, in my opinion. So our big toes face the long edge of the mat or straight edge of the mat, either short or long. And we're going to lift our toes up and spread them as far apart as we can, and then lower them back down to the mat, lifting our heels slightly off the mat, and then lower our heels back down to the mat. And just feel that connection to the earth, being grounded. So important this time of year. And then we're going to have our legs nice and straight and strong with a gentle bend in our knees. Always have that flexibility in your knees. Navel is tucked to the spine. Spine is nice and long. Back of our neck is nice and long. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chin is ever so slightly tucked toward our chest, creating a nice flat crown of our head. And then we're going to sweep our hands with a big inhale up and overhead. And exhale, bending at the knees, we're going to bring our hands down to the mat, down to the ground. And just check in here for a moment. Again, kind of do a body scan, see if there's any tension there. Send some nourishing breaths to any tension. Then inhale, bring our hands up, our shins, flattening out our back. Elbows are tucked toward our legs. Gaze is sent down, so our back is nice, back spine, back of our neck's nice and straight and long. Then lowering the crown of our head down toward the ground, bringing our hands back down toward the ground. And then inhale, sweeping our hands from the ground all the way up overhead. Coming up onto our tippy toes, we'll do palm tree here. And so we'll just stay up on our tippy toes and then sway ever so slightly. Get anchored in our ground, feeling the balance throughout our body. And then lowering our heels back down to the ground, lowering our hands back down, bending with our knees. Bring our hands back to the mat. Inhale, half forward fold. Bring your hands up to your shins, straightening out your lower back, mid-spine, back of your neck. And lowering the crown of your head down toward the mat. And inhale, sweeping your hands again all the way up, overhead, bringing the palms together. Do a few supported side stretches. So bring your right hand to your right thigh and slide your right hand down toward your right knee, making a nice crescent shape with your body. And inhale, bring your hand back up. Connect with the other hand, and then lower your left hand to your left thigh, sliding your left hand down toward your knee. Nice crescent shape on the other side. Inhale, come back up. One more time on the right side. Bring your right hand down your right thigh, sliding it slowly down toward your knee. Then inhale, come back up. Hands come together. Then you lower your left hand down toward your left thigh. Slide it down toward your knee. And then inhale, come back up. Hands come together. And then exhale, bending your knees. We're going to come back down, forward fold. Bring your hands to the mat. Then inhale, hands come up to the shin, half forward fold, flat back. Exhale, lower the crown of your head down toward the mat. Then inhale, sweeping your hands from the ground all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. We're going to do tree poses on each side. So you pick whichever leg you'd like to start with. I start with my weakest leg. Give that some love. And then you can bring your heel, keep your toes on the mat and bring the heel to the left ankle or to the shin. And that's tree pose. Any of those are tree pose. Or you can bring it all the way up to your thigh, and that would be tree pose as well. Anywhere except resting against your knee. Perhaps find that dristi, which is that spot that doesn't move in front of you, so you can focus on that and really get grounded and anchored, feeling the roots of your tree go down into the earth. And then once you feel stable here, you can lift your arms up flat. I think I go under my shin. Go up to the sky. And then twinkle your fingers as they come down toward the earth, like leaves falling from the tree. Slowly, twinkling of leaves coming down. And we'll do that on the other side. Again, palms together at heart center, Anjali Mudra. Bring your heel to your right ankle. Toes are on the mat. That's one version. Or bring it up to your shin. That's another version. Or up to your thigh. Find your spot in the room that you can focus on to help with your balance. Feel the roots from your foot go into the earth, stabilizing you. And then when you feel nice and stable, you can bring your hands up to the sky. And then twinkle your fingers like leaves falling from the tree on down to the earth. And then bring both feet back down to the mat. We're going to take a big inhale, sweeping our arms up overhead. Forward fold. Bending at the knees, bring your hands down to the mat. Inhale, half forward fold. Hands come up to your shins, back flattens out. And then exhale, crown of your head reaches toward the ground. And inhale, sweeping your hands from the floor, from the ground, from the mat, all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And then palms come to rest on the back of your hips. Fingertips are pointing down. Your feet are hip width apart. You're relaxing your shoulders, rolling them back. Tuck your chin toward your chest and just drop your shoulders back for supported back bend. And then inhale, come back up. Oh, where'd everything go? Wow, that was weird. Sorry about that, gang. I had this thing on my thing. So, sorry. I don't know what happened there. All right. So I don't know where we're cut off, but phase 2, we'll continue on. All right, so in mountain pose, we're going to sweep our hands up overhead. Exhale, bring our hands back down to the mat. Forward fold, we're going to extend both feet to the back of the mat, coming into downward dog, so not fully back. And your fingertips are open and spread apart. Index finger pointing to the top of the mat. Arms are nice and straight and strong. Chest is reaching toward our thighs to elevate our hips upward toward the sky. Knees are bent, or you could be pedaling, walking your dog. And we'll just bring our left knee to our left elbow on the inhale. So inhale, pushing off of the right toes, bring our left knee to our left elbow. And then back again and pedal out. Inhale, left knee to left elbow. And then back again. Pedal out. And on the third one, we're going to bring our left foot between our hands so that our hands are framing that left foot, and we're coming into runner's lunge. So inhale, bring that left foot all the way up, guide it between your hands, coming into runner's lunge where our left knee is over our left ankle, our right foot, the heel is pushing toward the back of the mat. And I'm going to lower our right knee down to the mat, lower the top of the right foot down to the mat. I'm going to do some half monkeys here. So keeping your fingertips where they are, framing your foot, you're going to straighten out your front leg, riding your thigh with your chest as it straightens, bringing your chin toward your knee. So just come down as far as it's comfortable for you. And then inhale, bring your knee back over your ankle and lift your head up, opening up your chest. And then we'll do that again. So keeping your fingertips where they are, straightening out your front leg. You can ride it down with your chest on your thigh. Guide your chin toward your knee. Then inhale, bringing your knee back over your ankle, lifting your head and your chest up. And one last time, straightening out that front leg, guiding your chin toward your knee. And then inhale, bring it back so that the knee's over your ankle. You tuck your back toes under, come back into runner's lunge. And then bring both hands to the right side of your foot. And we're gonna walk our hands along the edge of the mat so that we come into a wide-legged stance. Toes are pointing to the corners of the mat and feet are at a 45-degree angle. We're going to continue walking our hands over to our right foot, bringing our torso over our right leg, and then walk our hands back to center, and then all the way over to the left foot, guiding our torso over our left leg, and then bringing our hands back to center. Slightly bend your knees, place your hands along your hips, and then tilt your torso up, coming to an upright position. Check your stance, your toes should be still pointed to the corners of the mat. Feet tucked in at a 45-degree angle. We're going to make a star shape, so our legs are apart, our arms are apart. And then we're going to bring our hands all the way down as far as they can as we bend our knees. So we're going to ground our hands toward the floor. This is a balancing and a grounding pose. And inhale, lifting back up, straightening our legs. Then exhale, bringing our hands down, bending our knees. Finding the balance. One last time, lifting up, straightening our legs. And then exhale, bring our hands down, bending our knees. And then come halfway, or all the way up actually. We're going to pivot both feet, so left foot is pointed to the short edge of the mat. We're going to come into warrior two. Back foot is at a 45-degree angle. Chest is open to the long side of the mat. Bring your arms up to shoulder height. Then slowly bring your gaze over to your left fingertips for warrior two. And then we drop our left arm so that our left forearm is on our left thigh. We're going to bring our right hand to our hip and open up our chest, sending our gaze straight ahead. And then gently turn your head down toward your left toes. So you're gazing at the ground. And then we're going to bring both hands down, pivoting our back foot, coming back into runner's lunge. Bring your left foot back so you come into plank. Like your shoulders are right above your wrists. Heels are pushing to the back of the mat. Navel's tucked to your spine. Your hips are elevated up toward the sky. No slouching tummies, please. And then we're going to either knees, chest, chin, bring yourself down to the mat, or chaturanga. Both would have your elbows tucked toward your side as you descend gently down to the mat. And then we're going to have a recline, or a prone rather. So you're on your tummy, so it's prone Shavasana. So you gently turn your head to one side and just relax your body for a moment. Again, this is a balancing pose for this time of year where, again, visualize the leaves swirling all around in the dry air, and you're getting connected to the earth and relaxing, which is opposite. And then we're going to bring our hands under our shoulders and gently come into Cobra. So we're going to lift our chin, lift our chest, gently pushing down in our hands, come into Cobra, where our pelvis is still on the mat. And then keep pushing, come up to tabletop, and then lower our hips to our ankles, coming into child's pose. But this time we're going to wrap our arms around our back and interlace our fingers and have them just lying on our hips. So we're kind of in a hibernation style of child's pose. And then come back up to tabletop. I'm going to do that on the other side. I'm going to turn positions here. So we're going to tuck our toes under, come into downward dog. Pedal out your dog here for a few moments. Again, strong arms, chest reaching your thigh, elevating your hips. And then inhaling, pushing off with your left foot, you're going to bring your right knee to your right elbow. And then back again to downward dog, pedal out some more. Inhale, bring your right knee to your right elbow. And then back, pedal out some more. And then the last one, we're going to bring our right foot between our hands. So inhale, bring your foot between your hands. Coming into runner's lunge. Then we'll lower our left knee to the mat, left top of the foot to the mat. And we'll do a few half monkeys here. So keeping your hands, framing your foot. We're going to straighten our front leg, riding it down, guiding our chin toward our knee. Then inhale, come back up. Knee goes over the ankle. We lift our head and chest up. And then exhale, straightening out our leg, guiding our chin toward our knee. Then inhale, bringing our knee back over our ankle, lifting our head and our chest up. And one last time, straightening out our leg, lowering it down toward the mat, guiding our chin toward our knee. And then bringing our knee back over our ankle. Head goes up, chest goes up. And then we'll tuck our back foot under, toes get tucked under and come back up to runner's lunge. And bring both hands to the inside of your right foot. And we'll walk those hands to the center of the mat. Toes are pointing toward the corners. Heels are tucked in 45-degree angle. And we'll walk continue walking our hands over to our left leg. And then walk them back to center. And walk them over toward the right leg, right foot. And then walking them back to center. We gently bend our knees, bring our hands to our hips, and upright our torso. Coming into wide-legged stance. Just check your footing so that your toes are pointing to the corners. Heels are tucked in at 45 degrees. But lift our arms up, creating a star shape. And then we're going to bring our hands down toward the earth, grounding ourselves as we bend our knees, lowering our hips down toward the earth. And inhale, bring our hands back up. And exhale, slowly bringing your hands down toward the earth, bending our knees, lowering our hips toward the earth. Then inhale, come back up. And one last time. Slowly bringing your hands down to the earth, lowering our hips down toward the earth. And then come back up. Bring ourselves into a warrior two position by pointing our right toes to the straight edge of the mat. Bringing our back foot at a 45-degree angle. Right knee goes over the right ankle. Chest is open to the long side of the mat. Arms go up at shoulder height. And slowly turn your gaze to your right fingertips. And then bring your right arm down to your right thigh. Left hand goes on your hip, opening up your chest, sending your gaze out to the front. And then slowly turn your gaze down toward the earth, down toward your toes. And then we'll pivot both hands down to the earth, coming back into runner's lunge. And then bring your right foot back to meet your left foot, coming into plank pose. And then slowly lower to the mat, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, keeping your elbows tucked to your sides. And then bring your arms alongside of you and relaxing into prone Shavasana, turning your head to the opposite side. And just relax here for a moment. And bring your fingertips right below your shoulders. And lift your chin, lift your chest, and gently push down into your hands, coming into Cobra. And then keep pushing, come into tabletop. And then lowering your hips to your ankles, come into child's pose. Bringing your hands around to your back of your hips, interlacing your fingers, coming into that hibernation pose. And then coming back to tabletop. We're going to come into a staff pose, which is a seated pose. So you can turn around and place your hip bones on the mat. Toes are reaching up to the sky. And then we're going to roll down one vertebrae at a time, slowly. And bring our knees up toward the sky with our feet about hip width apart. We'll do a few somatic windshield wipers. So bringing your arms out to the side, shoulder height. We're going to lower our knees to the right side. Gently send our gaze over to our left hand, and the left palm is facing up. As we flip our right palm of our hand down toward the earth. Then inhale, we're going to lift our knees back to center, bringing our head back to center, and then lowering the knees over to the left side, sending our gaze over to our right hand with the right palm is facing up, and flipping the left palm so it's facing down toward the ground. And then we'll continue doing this at your own pace for a few moments. So inhale, bring your knees back up, lowering to the other side, flipping your hands so that as you send your gaze to your left palm is up, right palm is down. And slowly inhaling, bringing your legs back up, lowering to the other side, sending your gaze to your right palm, palms up, left palm facing to the ground. One more time. Raising your knees up, lowering them down to the right side, shifting your gaze to your left hand, palm up, right palm down. And then bringing your knees back to center, gaze back to center, sliding your feet down to the bottom of the mat. Preparing for Shavasana. You bring your feet out, heels out toward the corners of the mat and just let your feet pop open. Just relax and really feel connected to the earth, really feel grounded. Have your shoulder blades relax. Your shoulders relax into the earth. Palms are facing up. Let the nourishment of today's practice soak deep within you. And today I have a poem by Robert Frost. It's called October, celebrating the first day of October. O hushed October morning mild, thy leaves have ripened to the fall. Tomorrow's wind, if it be wild, should waste them all. The crows above the forest call, tomorrow they may form and go. O hushed October morning mild, begin the hours of this day slow. Make the day seem to us less brief. Hearts not averse to being beguiled, beguile us in the way you know. Release one leaf at break of day. At noon, release another leaf. One from our trees, one far away. Retard the sun with gentle mist. Enchant the land with amethyst. Slow, slow, for the grape's sake, if they were all, whose leaves already are burnt with frost, whose clustered fruit must else be lost, for the grape's sake, along the wall.